This news program is proudly brought to you by
Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits
and Now Biscuits.
KCH presents 80 million Kina dividend payment to state. ICAC launches anti-corruption and integrity strategy. And electric vehicle launched by Post PNG. Good evening, you're watching National EMTV News. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. The Minister for State Enterprises, William Duma, presented a Kumul Consolidated Holdings dividend of 80 million Kina to the state today at the Prime Minister's office, Manasupe House, Port Moresby. Representing the government was the country's Prime Minister James Marape and Treasurer Ian Ling-Stuckey. Other ministers also present was Minister for Finance Rainbow Paita and Minister for Community Development and Religion Jason Peter.
For the first time since independence, the stars are aligned for our SOEs.
The mother company of all state-owned entities of the country, Kumul Consolidated Holdings, has announced its dividend presentation to the government, fulfilling its mandatory to pay annual dividends from the profit-earned assets and investments held in the General Business Trust. State Enterprises Minister William Duma made the announcement.
Today is a very important occasion where, for the first time since 2015, Kumul Consolidated Holdings Limited, which looks after the General Business Trust for our people, is able to pay a dividend of 80 million Kina.
Kumul Consolidated Holdings Board Chairman Moses Maladina highlighted the overall performance and service delivery of all state-owned enterprises.
KCH is responsible for overseeing the management of various state-owned enterprises and investments and the General Business Trust. And it's a mandatory requirement on our part of KCH to pay an annual dividend to the state from income earned from its investments in the SOEs.
Despite the challenges such as COVID-19 and the Russian-Ukraine war, all state-owned companies have performed persistently and brought back better profits to Kumul Consolidated Holdings.
What we're about to see now is a result of all the hard work and the reform programs introduced by this government.
Whilst commenting Minister Duma and all SOE partners, Prime Minister James Marape highlighted the importance on appointment on merit basis of all state enterprises, board and management. With the restructure and reform program endorsed in 2019, the commitment of SOEs had proved enhanced results through profits and declared dividends.
Workable strategies really falls down onto sector ministers, as well as those of you who are placed in responsible positions in the entire structure. And let me say thank you to each and every one of you in KCH, from the minister down to the chairman and subsidiary chairmen, to the mother company MD and the subsidiary MDs. Sincere on behalf of our people, let me appreciate the first ever return on dividend since 2015.
Marape commended the emerging improvements by some SOEs. Receiving the dividend check of 80 million Kina presented by State Enterprises Minister William Duma was Prime Minister Marape and Treasurer Stuckey. Meanwhile, Kumul Consolidated Holdings will contribute 7% of their dividend to the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Minister for State Enterprises William Duma had made the announcement during the KCH 80 million Kina dividend check presentation. The Minister for State Enterprises, William Duma, had announced that for the first time, Kumul Consolidated Holdings will deposit 7% of its dividend to the Sovereign Wealth Fund.
At least 7% of that dividend, according to the established dividend policy, will be paid to the Sovereign Wealth Fund. The much talked about Sovereign Wealth Fund, where our Prime Minister Maravi has been pushing for over the years, and which has actually been established through a organic law.
Prime Minister James Marape has commended Kumul Consolidated Holdings.
KCH is now historically giving a little bit of money for our sovereign wealth fund, and if we systematically build together into the future, I look forward to seeing our sovereign wealth fund being built into a 1 billion, 2 billion kina facility in 10 years, 15 years from today.
According to the National Executive Council approved state-owned enterprise dividend policy, Kumul Consolidated Holdings is required to deliver 7% of its dividend to the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Papua New Guinea is ranked 124 out of 180 as the most corrupt country in the world. Independent Commission Against Corruption, or ICAC, launched the 2023 to 2025 PNG&T Corruption and Integrity Strategy 2023 to 2025 today at the La Mana Hotel in Port Moresby. The strategy is a roadmap to fight corruption in the country.
In this small yet significant event today, Independent Commission Against Corruption launched its 2023 to 2025 plan to fight corruption in the country. The plan aims at promoting transparent leadership, ensuring anti-corruption culture and standards discipline, integrity, and strengthening technology. ICAC Interim Chairman Thomas Elu gave a background of PNG's corruption ranking in the world.
I think we all know that unfortunately Papua New Guinea stands at 124 out of 180 as one of the most corrupt countries in the world. So that's the tag we carry around as Papua New Guineans.
Mr. Elu said this country is falling apart because of weak leadership, so we must work together to fight corruption that is deeply rooted in the system.
Corruption has somewhat trickled into all systems and processes of government, right from the very top, right down to the T-boys. Not only the government organizations, but also the private sector, civil societies, in the wards and in the districts and in the villages. Corruption has very much entrenched into the way we do things, the way we do business, the way we respect each other, and all of that. This country is falling apart because of the evils of corruption. And we cannot continue to turn a blind eye on corruption.
The anti-corruption strategy plan is a roadmap to guide the organization towards addressing corruption in the country. Transparency International, Papua New Guinea Chief Executive Officer Arian Kasman also reiterated on the objectives of the strategy plan.
On this occasion, we celebrate the dedication and the effort of the office in developing your first agency-level anti-corruption strategy. This commitment speaks to the importance the interim ICAC office places on ensuring that it is fully equipped to fulfill its mandated functions. We at TIPNG fully support this vision.
ICAC Interim Chairman Thomas Elu stated that corruption is here to stay and it's the major hindrance to development. He acknowledged the partners, TIPNG and Square Circle, for their support towards the launching of this plan. Mr. Elu stated that it's not only ICAC responsibility, but everyone's business to fight corruption in the country for the betterment of our children in the future. Thomas Suliambari, National EMTV News.
For any country to see development and effective service delivery, collecting of tax is vital. This was a statement made by the Internal Revenue Commission Commissioner General Sam Coim at the opening of the new IRC Service Center at the NCDC City Hall in Port Moresby today.
Tax collection is vital for any government to function effectively and efficiently, as reiterated by Commissioner General for IRC, Sam Coim. Coim said they have been looking for office space for the last 5 years to move away from the headquarters so to focus on other areas. He said this initiative by the NCD is timely. City Manager Ravu Frank highlighted that the space was given to the IRC to operate for free. Frank added that this is to ensure tax laws are enforced in the city, as well as making the services accessible and convenient for business and people, as the demand for such services is high at the moment.
Due to the rapid expansion of the city in recent years, there is a corresponding increase in demand for services, and at the same time, it widens the gap between taxpayers and evaders.
This sentiment was also shared by IRC Commissioner. Mr. Coim said when taxes are diverted for personal gain, it discourages taxpayers. However, when taxes are put into good use, it boosts taxpayers.
And if the taxpayers are not seeing the value of the taxes that they are paying, it discourages them from paying taxes. But once when you put the taxpayer money into good use, it boosts the taxpayer morale. So I was very encouraged yesterday. Thank you, Governor. And the more we collect, the more we give it to you, the more we want to see the city expand and the services being delivered to our taxpayers and the people.
NCD Governor Powers Parkop highlighted that it is vital for government agency to collaborate and urged that such partnership must be replicated throughout the country.
But it's equally and more fundamental for government agency especially to collaborate, to work together, because at the end of the day, we are serving only one people, and that is the people of our country.
Governor Parkop made an appeal to his fellow colleague, urging them to move away from collecting tax and allow the expert in the field, the IRC, to do their job, and urged them to partner with IRC.
You all are the expert, and we should start to move away from this idea that I should be in the provinces be responsible for collecting tax.
This service center will host 60 IRC staff and accommodate SME and MSME within the nation's capital and the central province, and will commence its services on Monday. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
Community development training facilities in Moro, Southern Highlands Province, have officially been taken over by the Mineral Resources Development Company. Since the buyout of Oil Search by Santos, the official handing over ceremony was conducted yesterday in Moro, Southern Highlands Province.
The Community Development Training Facilities in Moro was originally created by Chevron New Guinea Limited as part of the community development work in communities in the project areas. These facilities were taken over by Oil Search when Oil Search took over from Chevron. Since the buyout of Oil Search by Santos, Santos officially handed over the training facilities to MRDC in a ribbon-cutting and symbolic groundbreaking ceremony yesterday.
This is a very important day, a step change in terms of how we engage, how we work with all of us serve the same beneficiaries, the landowners, the future generations of where we operate. So today is a culmination of many years of hard work to land it today. So I'm really glad that we're all here today, and thank you again, everyone, for making this today.
MRDC Managing Director Augustine Mano said with the facilities, more direct interaction can now take place with the landowners.
What we're doing now is long overdue, especially for Kurubu and Moran, for MRDC to come here to set up facilities so that we can interact with our beneficiaries, so that when we come here, the government also can come here. There's no government presence. There's no MRDC presence on the ground in Kurubu and Moran since the first floor of both projects.
Speaking on behalf of the landowners, Tony Kila thanked MRDC.
The partnership that we are seeing here, MRDC is only the name. Santos, this is landowners, you're coming to the root. This is Santos coming to the root, the foundation. This is where we are. You're coming to the people. This is what's supposed to be done when Olchers was here. But they didn't. So, Santos, you're not going to be here for just 1 year or 2 years. As long as gas is here, you have the title. You have the license. You'll operate. So coming with MRDC and partnering is you are partnering with thousands and thousands of landowners, but on behalf of all these thousands, we only selected MRDC to be our flagship.
MRDC will now be upgrading and using this facility in its community infrastructure program focusing on education. Rocky Iso, National MTV News.
National MTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National MTV News. PNG's postal service provider, Post PNG Limited, continues to diversify its business this time by being the first state-owned enterprise that is going green. Post PNG launched its electric motor vehicle pilot project today in Port Moresby. The Chief Operating Officer for Post PNG Limited, Ben Davies, said this project aims to translate broad climate commitments and targets into specific postal policies and actions locally as a responsible company in alignment with the United Nations Sustainable Development and PNG policies and directives.
These two electric motor vehicles operate using a chargeable battery and do not have any engine. It will take 2 to 3 hours to be fully charged, and the charging stations have been installed at Konidobu head office. These electric motor vehicles can carry a load of 600 kilograms with normal speeds up to 100 km per hour and only be used in metro deliveries in Port Moresby due to road conditions. Mr. Davies said Post PNG Limited is a member of the Global Postal Network under the Universal Postal Union and are connected globally over 200 countries and territories. He said the recent global megatrends and events, especially related to COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine war, has affected the global energy productions. This has resulted in increase in fuel prices globally and in PNG.
Post PNG is proud to announce to the country and the rest of the world that we are the first corporate organization in Papua New Guinea. As a member of the Kumul Consolidated Holdings and a state-owned enterprise of the government of PNG, we are proud to launch today our first electric motor vehicles that will be used as delivery vans. Progress into the years in the future, we embark on a greener and more environmentally friendly way of doing business.
Due to their logistics business and large branch network of 43 post offices, they have a large fleet size of approximately 86 motor vehicles all around the nation, and the hike in the fuel prices has similarly increased. He confirmed that the dual electric motor vehicles will help the company save the cost.
In Port Moresby market, our public, our customers will now be benefiting from using these electrical vans as part of our delivery route within the Port Moresby area. Our plan is to roll the vehicles out to other parts of PNG. This is a pilot project, and we will see how it goes in Port Moresby and then slowly roll out similar vans into other urban areas.
Post PNG is also planning to replace their current backup diesel generator and move to more suitable solar power nationwide. Esther Gane, National MTV News.
Carbon trading, which is being heavily promoted in Papua New Guinea, will not help reduce global warming and instead risk implicating indigenous communities in the obsessive overconsumption in wealthier countries that is destroying the planet, says local community advocacy group Act Now.
Act Now is a community advocacy organization that assists ordinary people to make their voices heard in relation to matters of national importance throughout the country. It is an independent, not-for-profit organization registered in PNG and is not affiliated with any corporation, political party, government, or other non-government organization. With the eyes of the world in Egypt for COP27, Act Now campaign manager Eddie Tanago said carbon trading is just one more example of the greenwashing being used by big corporations and foreign governments to cover up their failure to cut greenhouse gas emissions and their ongoing destruction of the natural environment.
Carbon trading is a concept that's heavily promoted in Papua New Guinea, but it will not help to reduce global warming. Instead, it will involve PNG local communities to allow rich countries to continue destroying the planet.
Mr. Tanago added that carbon offsets allow corporations to keep producing ever more consumer goods.
Carbon trading is an example of greenwashing by big companies and foreign governments to cover their failures in reducing greenhouse gas emissions and to stop the destruction of the natural environment. Papua New Guinea communities are being misled to believe that by signing off to carbon trading, they will help to fight global warming.
According to Act Now, for PNG, carbon trading does nothing to address the real drivers of deforestation, which is the global demand for timber products and industrial agriculture. It also does nothing to stop the corruption, which also allows illegal logging to flourish. Challenging the status quo, Act Now believes carbon trading is also socially and culturally destructive, as it encourages people to think of nature in purely economic terms, when, for indigenous communities, their natural environment has always been an essential part of their traditional culture and beliefs. Act Now says that if global emissions and biodiversity loss are to be reduced, then the global economy must be restrained to fit within the limits of the natural world, rather than investing in false solutions like carbon trading, which put a price on nature and make the services it provides part of the economy. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
At least 5,000 mangrove seedlings were planted yesterday at the Dogura Beach in Port Moresby to commemorate the World Mangrove Day. Officers from the Climate Change Development Authority took part in the event. The mangrove planting event was hosted by the Nature Conservancy, or TNC, and supported by key partners.
Mangrove plays a significant role when it comes to mitigation and adaptation. For the purpose of mitigation, mangrove absorbed carbon dioxide faster than any trees in the forest, while for adaptation, saves cost for the coastal protection, especially for developing countries like PNG. Jacinta Cool for CCDA during the event acknowledged TNC for the initiative in organizing such event. Cool said one of the areas of support is in the RED+, that is reducing emission from deforestation and degradation, and mainly deal with the policies to have these right policies in place by the government to enable the implementation. The Nature Conservancy Country Director, Jacqueline Nan, said this event was supposed to happen sometime in July, but because of elections and other reasons, it was pushed back. She said the plan is to plant 20,000 mangrove seedlings over the next 2 years. Nan said this is not something that is impossible to achieve. Nan then acknowledged communities at Dogura for taking ownership of the rehabilitation of the mangrove. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.2840 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.2765 $0.4274 Australian dollars, €0.2692 euro, 40.4 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee closed lower, cocoa closed higher, copper closed lower, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading lower, copper closed higher. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower, the All Ordinaries is trading lower. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Communities in Sinesine Yongumul today met with local member and Minister for Petroleum and Energy, Karenga Kua, including church groups, former leaders of the district, clan leaders, and other important delegates to discuss issues on election-related violence during 2022. Minister Kua said the idea behind the gathering is to discuss compensation plan following the 2022 election violence in the district.
Today, clan leaders, church groups, women's groups, youth and invited guests from the 3 LLGs, Sua LLG, Tabare LLG and the Yongumul LLG. The gathering today at the Kundiawa High School was to discuss with leaders past and present, and those that contested the 2022 National General Election, where election violence was a real problem this year. As people from the 3 LLGs gathered to meet the leaders, local member Karenga Kua said election violence is a major concern, especially in this year's election.
Samla laini kisim bagrap, ol kisim stone, one bla two bla naba, ol kisim spia, Samla ol kisim bagrap pans nabaut, Samla ol cooking house, Samla house. Luckily, no what money die.
He said the reason behind gathering people from all corners of the district is to inform and educate as to why and how election violence can ruin lives, displace families, and cause inconvenience to the public.
Now today, tomorrow, by me passing supplementary budget, me by working putting some law and order budget, me by putting aside. Now me by all manual injury, law skin blow, or law property blow. Me by luxavel or send bell call. Me by sigani mold and by talk. Government blow you and luxavel or pain na worry na heavy blow you.
The idea created by member Karenga Kua will see business houses, families and individuals get compensated for their loss, property damage and losing during the election. Now the program for United Sinesine Yongumul here in Kundiawa will continue tomorrow with the appointment of DDA members. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News, Kundiawa.
Member for Sinesine Yongumul and Minister for Petroleum and Energy, Karenga Kua, says when it comes to election petition, his district has topped the country with no such thing as election petition being held in the past years against their leaders. He said election petition are a real cause of problems where people bring in disharmony and disrupt the community.
Following the 2022 National General Elections, the Waigani National Court in Port Moresby so far has about 105 election petitions involving seats contested and won against the losing candidates. Today, in an interview with member for Sinesine Yongumul and Minister for Petroleum and Energy, Karenga Kua, says election petitions are splitting communities in half and causing disharmony.
But lo standard lo mipla. Lo SSY, we are used to emphasizing importance of peace and unity. We never allow ourselves to go down to that level. One example, me like highlighting Libla now, I'm also. You look, all get the elections since 1964. Come lo 67, 72, 77, 82, 87, 92, 97, 2002, 2007, 2012, 2017, 2022. Close to 10 plow, 11 plow election, you may go through here. All leaders, na candidates, blow USSY, all knows a petition in outcome, blow elections.
He said that for Chimbu and Sinesine Yongumul, that it is not the case. His district has never, in the past, gone to election petitions.
So this year, this election, he got 105 petitions. Before that, over 100, law 2017. But SSY no sa petition. Mi plan no sa petition. Why? because all candidates, now leaders, all realize him that good plus in people important. Kan sani no sem petition em sa bara bel blow man, em sa give him reason or man put him tight him na crossfight na kind of sem.
He said election petitions have only caused problems in the district and province where families have been affected.
We have this very unique culture, Mr. Political culture, law, USSY, passing the petition in us, and we want other districts and provinces to learn about this. Man win, some time you feel strongly. Matter of principle, you can go to one end, but if it's a marginal issue, must you run to court because you're still dividing, it becomes a words and dividing community and society apart.
He said leaders in other parts of the country should really look into stopping the process of election petitions and work with leaders. Now for Chimbu Province, the current governor, Noah Cool, is currently involved in a court case involving the 2022 National General Election petition. Godwin Eki, National MTV News, Kundiawa.
Good news for the Rotary Club of Boroko in their efforts to fundraise during the running of the Melbourne Cup last week. The Rotarians made a total of 350,000 kina during the Melbourne Cup luncheon. The fundraising was held to fund projects, especially in education, health and many more for humanitarian purposes.
Melbourne Cup Luncheon is the only fundraising drive the Rotary Club of Boroko does to raise funds to help support the local communities. For this year, 2022, the fundraising brought a total of 350,000 kina. President for Rotary Club of Boroko, Joselito Tubon, explained where all this money will be spent.
These funds will be used to sustain or to fund our projects, our current and future projects. So we do have a project in Sugeri, what we call is the water supply project, wherein it's benefiting the families and students of the Eurowari and the Sugeri school.
Tubon thanked the sponsors and supporters for the generous support.
Thank you very much again for our supporters for this year's event. We hope that they will continue to support us. We have few members. We got about 21 members in the club, and we are desperately in need of your support.
The director for the Rotary Club of Boroko, Stanley Harua, asked people to join the club to help the needy and in humanitarian work.
As the director for membership, I would like you to call on for members to come and join us, for interested people, especially the men folks. Unfortunately, our club is made up of only the men folks, so I'm asking if those who are interested in, making a difference in the community, to serve others, to come forward and join our club, and then we can continue to do the good work that we are doing.
Arua further says he has joined the team a few years back and he is happy to be part of this great team. Samantha Solomon, National MTV News.
The University of Papua New Guinea for the first time is poised to offer bachelor's degree programs at the Yanguru Sausia District University Center in 2023. Discussion for the programs to be offered for the first time outside the university's main Waigani campus have reached advanced stages with an MOA to be signed in the coming weeks. Top management delegations have recently concluded an assessment visit to the Yanguru Sausia District University Center at Warasawa last week.
With university education in Port Moresby being expensive with all the associated costs, this modality is the way forward for the country. Many of the school leavers qualify with the required GPAs, but the space limitation remains a concern. The Open Campus program as such opens opportunities for many school leavers to gain university education. The Yanguru Sausia District University Center in 2023 will offer a degree program. This is following a visitation from UPNG top management to the district recently that they find the facility to be of desired standards to offer the program. On hand to welcome the UPNG delegation to the center was the Yanguru Sausia MP and Minister for International Trade and Investment, Richard Maru. Maru reiterated that an educated population is productive population. Therefore, empowerment through quality education programs for the district is top priority. This demonstrates the seriousness and foresight of the UPNG and the district to bring university education closer to the people and the community. The Yanguru Sausia UPNG Open Learning Center will have two campuses given the geographical location, posing major challenges to students' travels. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Santos PNG Orchids have lost their match against the England Red Roses 42 points to 4. England finished on top of Pool A and will now prepare to face the top team of Pool B in the semi-finals, while the Orchids have finished second and are awaiting a winner from Pool B.
First carry driving in, Andrea Jobson.
The Orchids started the match within 4 minutes of the game. Orchids fullback Mata Molowia moved down through the right-hand side of the English defense to give her team the early lead. The next 16 minutes was an intense battle as both sides searched for glory, applying great pressure through their defenses.
You know, she's quite a quiet, unassuming character and just goes about her business really well.
But the English Red Roses kept finding their way to the try line to claim the first half lead with 14 points as the Orchids fall short with 10 points.
England takes the opportunity here.
From the siren of the second half, England maintained their dominance without let-up, which saw tries scored. Having all the momentum and a combination of Tara Jane Stanley, Amy Hardcastle and Vicky Whitfield, the Red Roses took the game away from the Orchids.
Semi-final, the chance of England ring around Headingley.
Although both sides meant business in the clash, Lady Luck was smiling on the Red Roses with every call from the referee in their favour as the English cruised to a crushing 42 points to 4 full-time victory.
Doing its job, standing.
Meanwhile, the Santos PNG Orchids have already booked a spot in the semi-finals and will now prepare for it. Their opponent is yet to be confirmed, but the match is scheduled for Tuesday, the 15th of November 2022. England, on the other hand, has finished top of Pool A and is also on bye for the semi-finals playoff. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The National Volleyball Championships are underway at the Tauranga Aquatic Leisure Centre, and only one team is in the championship that is not from the nation's capital. They are Team Morobe Province, and among them is a young star who is only 12 years old. The young star is here to make his first appearance on the national stage.
Young Ezekiel hails from a mixed parentage of Central and Milne Bay provinces. He is only 12 years old and is in his 5th grade of studies. He started playing volleyball when he was just 7 years of age. The boy is the only youngest player to be featured in the Prima Huon Volleyball Club. Although this is his first appearance at such level, the young star is happy for having been a part of the squad.
We feel alright. I'm a slow, gentle, with the boys.
The youngster has also taken part in other sporting activities, namely AFL and soccer, and has claimed notable awards representing his school. Going forward, young Ezekiel is optimistic and is aiming to make it to the national volleyball squad that will be representing PNG in the 2023 Pacific Games in the Solomon Islands.
Representing PNG National Volleyball Club.
An adamant mother to young Ezekiel, Mrs. Rachel Bruce Vele, shared with EMTV of how proud she is of her son.
Parents, both of us have to come and watch him and support him. Yeah, and we are so proud of him. And we were still flying over yesterday, and we already heard that he had a lot of fans, and you guys came and...
Meanwhile, the finals for the Under-20 division will be held tomorrow, with the Open Championships to be held on Sunday. Lisa Puni, Chukai Sports.
And that ends Chukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report for the next 24 hours is next. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
Now we take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby City, partly cloudy with brief inland showers possible. Daru, partly cloudy. Kerema, brief showers. Alatau, mostly fine, although partly cloudy at times. Popondetta, brief evening showers. In Momase region, Lay City becoming cloudy with few showers and possible thunderstorms. Medang, partly cloudy with few showers. Wewak and Vanimo, cloudy with few showers and possible thunderstorms. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, cloudy periods with few showers. Kavieng, partly cloudy with brief showers. Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorms. Buka, cloudy with showers and thunderstorms. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen City becoming cloudy with few showers. Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg becoming cloudy with few showers.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Thursday, the 10th of November 2022. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.